Welcome to Dose of Depth podcast. I'm your host, Deborah Lukovich, and I invite you to explore what's beneath the surface of all sorts of things, including your own life. Through conversation, stories, and education, you'll see what you couldn't see before, find new meaning in old events, and even discover a new sense of purpose out there in the world. Let's get started. This episode is about self-intimacy and includes a guided meditation for those seeking a deeper and more intimate relationship with themselves and others. As usual, it was one of my awesome clients who suggested this idea, so I'd love to know what you think if you try it. The whole recording is about 20 minutes and starts with some reflections and questions to ponder for your mind, and then we will be involving the body. Before we begin, if you enjoy my free content, please be sure to like, rate, and share my episodes and videos. And if you'd be willing to support me a little bit more, consider becoming a financial supporter of Dose of Depth podcast for as little as $5 per month. Back to self-intimacy. I often describe this chaotic time as the age of the individual. Not from a narcissist perspective, although that is certainly climaxing among a certain portion of the population. And this reveals the depth of the wound inflicted by patriarchal systems. But there's a counter movement of deep self-reflection by people aware of needing to navigate the acceleration of the dismantling of old, stagnant, and unjust systems. What does this have to do with intimacy? Well, sexuality, arousal, passionate physical touch are all ways creative intelligence works through us to increase consciousness. The expansion of consciousness always involves an unleashing of creativity, new ideas of what it means to be human, inventions, perspectives, artistic expression. All these things express the demand by archetypal energies to evolve, and the expansion of consciousness always manifests as an expansion of love and compassion. There's a Jungian analyst that suggests that the self, capital S, not our ego self, is the bridge to the divine, God, nature, the quantum realm, whatever you want to call it. If you think you know God, that is certainly blasphemous, for God is unknowable. God is consciousness and comes to know itself through the unfolding of consciousness itself. This means that the more we come into relationship with ourself, the closer we are to that transcendent force. The relationship with Source is not about silly words, rather it is about truly knowing, the root of which is to relate and which requires the body. Withstanding the vulnerability of coming into deeper relationship with yourself prepares you for connecting more deeply with another human being, including a romantic partner. Rather than being needy of a partner's affection, your depth of relationship with yourself invites your partner to match your vulnerability. The two of you become a vessel for creative intelligence to mix with each of you to unleash something new into the world. There's so much more to intimacy than you realize, and the key to experiencing new heights of ecstasy and depths of meaning is to begin with self-intimacy. I hope you enjoy this meditation. It should be about 15 minutes. Let's get started. First, take time to choose a space where you can relax and feel vulnerable and where you won't be interrupted for about 15 minutes. You can sit in a chair or lay down in bed. You can remain dressed or remove your clothing on top or on the bottom and cover up under a blankie. You can do this alone or with a partner, but you might want to do it alone first. I call this exercise no sex, sex. I also recommend approaching this meditation as a sacred act, which means feeling proper reverence and humility for the creative intelligence that seeks to mix with our unique experience of being human. I know this sounds so spiritual, but I promise that humbling yourself to the archetypal energies of sexuality and spirituality is what will lead to mind-blowing experiences of connection, pleasure, liberation, and even bliss. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, go ahead and close them, and then just be. Now notice what you notice. For me, these initial moments catch my mind off guard, and I feel liberated for at least a few seconds. You might notice the temperature around you, or that you're melting into the chair or bed. You might feel heavy in a good way, or light, or maybe even dissipating your existence into the air around you. You might feel super relaxed or anxious. It's all good. Just notice what you notice without judgment. We're going to start with breath. Did you know that the root of psychology is breath and soul? Not the silly brain. Notice your natural rhythm of breathing. Does your inhale stop at your chest, or does it flow down into the belly, the sacral chakra, the place of emotions, relationships, sexuality, and spirituality? Just notice and then allow each inhale to reach deeper and deeper into your belly. Chest breathing actually puts you at risk for high blood pressure and heart disease. Like I said, breath is life. Notice your relationship to your breath. Have you ever really noticed your breath before? That's just the inhale. Now, as your inhales deepen into your belly, hold your breath at the top of the inhale and allow your exhale to be whatever your body wants it to be. Exhale out your mouth. Your exhales might be intense and noisy because we naturally walk around trying to be in control of things. Allowing a big, noisy breath is detoxifying. As you continue to inhale and hold, now begin to extend your exhales and involve your throat muscle as if you're sighing, like this. It's like the opposite of holding your breath underwater. More like you've got just one breath to blow up a balloon as big as possible. Or like you're running a marathon and you have to conserve your breath and make it last as long as possible as you exhale. Conserve all that inhale and let it out a little bit at a time, and then keep exhaling until you can't get another drop out. You'll feel your belly sucking in, and then hold it, which will force an even deeper inhale. Your breathing might sound like this. Inhale for 4. Hold. Exhaling for 8, 10, or even 12. Sighing it out, holding, and then taking a new inhale. This is a breathing technique that the Navy SEALs use to reset their parasympathetic nervous system during times of intense stress. So, now you've got a tool to use whenever you want. Next, we're going to check in with the mind. Research says that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. 75% are negative and 95% are repetitive. We don't even know what we're thinking most of the time, but these thoughts have an impact on us, our mental and physical and emotional well-being. It's often these hidden thoughts that cause us to feel there's a glass ceiling holding us back when we want to expand our lives. Now, allow your imagination to take you to a creek. You're standing in front of the creek. It might be a bubbling brook or a big rushing river, whatever your imagination does. Look down at your feet and notice if you're wearing shoes or you're barefoot. What are you wearing on your body? Hiking clothes or a white flowing dress? Or maybe you're naked. Just allow your imagination to do its thing. Look around until you find a tree. A tree is a great symbol of connecting the mind and body through soul. Maybe it's autumn and leaves are falling. Or maybe it's summer and flower petals are dropping. Or maybe you can see light, fluffy clouds passing by. Don't try to stop your thoughts. That's impossible. Just allow them to pass by or drop from that tree into the river. When you notice a thought, just imagine writing it onto that leaf or flower petal or the cloud. You're not your thoughts or emotions. You have them, but they're not you. You can be an observer. So just become the observer of your thoughts. Wonder about them. Be curious about them, but don't judge them. Now let's come back to the body and breath. When I say intimacy, what happens? What emotions arise? Is there an area of your body that feels energized or heavy or even numb? What associations do you have with intimacy? Just that word. Maybe it's your whole body or a different part of your body where you sense concentrated energy. The energy could feel heavy with a touch of shame, or the energy could feel liberating and light. Now, wonder about intimacy. What does it even mean to be intimate with yourself? I don't think the dictionaries even get close to the true meaning of intimacy. Looking it up was disappointing. I do love this definition, though. The word intimacy is derived from the Latin intimus, meaning inner or inmost. To be intimate with another is to have access to and to comprehend their inmost character. In most Romance languages, the root word for intimate refers to the interior and inmost quality of a person. Do you have access to your own inner characters? I think that's a great question. All my clients are consciously seeking deeper relationship with their inner being or inner characters. There are so many. And when they get close, they suddenly unleash creatively and often find a new sense of purpose. This is what happens when you experience true intimacy with yourself or another human being, because you've crossed the bridge to what transcends you. Back to your body. When I say intimacy and self-intimacy, what images come up? Or emotions? Or memories? As you wonder about intimacy, is there a place in your body where your relationship with intimacy lives? Whether it's a good relationship or bad. Take one of your hands and touch this area of your body. If it's your chest, your heart chakra, place the palm of your hand onto your skin and keep it there for a bit. You might eventually feel that this is not your hand, but the hand of some other presence. Wonder about that. Is this the hand of yourself? Could it be the hand of God? Does this make you feel anxious or affirmed? Linger in whatever is happening. There might be tears, and it's important that you allow them. Here's my mini lecture on big cries. Physiologically, tears release actual chemical toxins, and psychologically, tears help us make soul. They're a soul-making experience, and they leash and reveal the impact of new insights. The tears might lead to an amazing new insight about yourself. It might be your belly that craves the touch and acceptance, so touch your belly. The belly is a difficult area, especially for women, because this is where centuries of oppression are remembered. Unfortunately, these fears are reemerging in the face of renewed efforts to control women's bodies and ultimately their capacity for self-determination. Please understand that those who seek to oppress women's bodies fear the power over life and death by the feminine. It's not just women for whom the sacral chakra needs healing, though. It's men too. You might imagine taking an elevator down to the belly or other area of your body, stepping out and allowing your imagination to bring you some more images, emotions, and maybe even new insights. If you want to stop the recording and explore that elevator experience, go ahead and come back when you're ready. If you're ready for more, begin exploring your body in whatever way wants to happen. You might put your hand in the space between your legs. It's so hot right there. What is that heat about? Just lay your hand on your body or even caress your skin, your arms, your face, your neck, your legs, the wrinkly skin on your elbow. Linger in whatever emotions you're feeling. If you're feeling pleasure and getting aroused, how does that feel? Are you able to relax into that aroused space and pleasurable space? It's not easy for some people to feel pleasure. If you are relaxing into pleasure, resist the temptation to rush to orgasm. Sustaining your arousal and pleasure without needing an outcome is what we're going for here. Just be in the space of heat and arousal and allow more images to come up from your unconscious. What are the images or the memories? Allow your imagination to bring you what it thinks you need in this moment. If the images that come up are in your body, ask them if they might move out of your body so you can see them more clearly and understand what they're trying to tell you. You might have a conversation with these images or emotions. Ask why they're there, what they're trying to communicate to you. At this point, you might feel intense arousal, sustained arousal that's maybe new for you. Linger in the arousal and what it means. The arousal indicates a deeper connection with yourself, your inner being. What does the arousal want from you? Wonder about that. At this point, allow your imagination, intuition, emotions to guide you. Don't force or stop anything. You might want to stop this recording if you want to linger more and your imagination is taking you on a journey. And then come back. Otherwise, if this is a good place to come out of your imagination and open your eyes, go ahead. Take a couple deep breaths. Wonder about the brief experience you just had. Linger in the emotions. Be curious about your emotions, whether they're negative or positive or disconcerting. Journaling about your experience will be helpful, but it's difficult to get people to journal because it's also a form of self-intimacy. See what you're feeling and process however you like. Go take a walk. Draw in your image journal. Put on some loud music and move your body. Or go into the kitchen and cook. Allow the experience to work on you over the next day, days, the next week. See what you see that you don't normally notice. I hope you enjoyed this guided meditation about self-intimacy. If you did, please be sure to like, rate, share, and consider being a supporter so I can offer more helpful free content like this. Until next time. I'm your host, Deborah Lukovich, and you are listening to Dose of Depth podcast. To get updates on new episodes, my writing, and how I teach my clients to get to know that deeper part of themselves, go to deborahlukovich.com. Oh, and if you're not ready for a coach, learn what my clients know in my book, Your Soul is Talking. Are you listening? 5 Steps to Uncovering Your Hidden Purpose. You can check it out on my website or get it on Amazon.